Hey, what's going on everyone? Hux21 here, back with another Splinterlands video. So we got a big update today, and that is that the new reward cards, the new soulbound reward cards, have been added to the Splinterlands test server. So if you're a Mav, you can now go into the test server and you can play battles with these cards and test them out. So as always, I am going to go through each of these cards and we're going to talk about them. For disclosure, and I know I say this every time we review these cards on the server, these can change up until the moment they are released. So some of these cards I show you today will get nerfed, some of them might get buffed. It's all going to be part of the testing process over the next week before they are released on the 31st. So, if you're watching this video and things change, I will try to cover those changes. But if you see something change before I do, let me know so I can, make sure I update everyone. Now, normally, I would split up this video into 3 parts, right? I would cover a couple splinters, then, some more splinters, and then the last splinters over 3 days, 3 videos. I'm going to do something a little different. I've been feeling good about Splinterlands. Market's turned higher a little bit. There's a lot of cool things coming out, so I want to put together something cool. I'm going to release these 3 videos in succession. And buried throughout these 3 videos, they're all going to be released tonight. Buried throughout them is going to be a scavenger hunt or a treasure hunt or whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to be giving away 15 chaos packs throughout these videos to people who complete various tasks that will be explained throughout the videos. So you're going to have to watch all 3 if you want a shot to win all of the chaos packs. People can win multiple chaos packs. So, right now, chaos packs just hit above $2 again for the first time in a while. So it's about $30 on the line. Not bad. So I just want to have a little fun, mix it up. You'll see the different tasks as we go. And right off the bat, I'll show you number 1. So our first giveaway. I'm going to show you a tweet right now that I am going to put out live on this video. And the first person to retweet this tweet and comment their IGN will receive a chaos pack. So I know that by the time I tweet this and this video gets updated, people will have probably retweeted this, just followers and people in my community. So how this is going to work is basically the first comment who comments their IGN, and then I check to see if that person has retweeted the tweet, will be the winner. So the timestamp is going to be the comment. So make sure you comment your IGN. I'm going to tweet it out right now. It's this one. That I'm releasing 3 Splinterlands videos on the new reward cards over the next 2 hours. Scavenger hunt, 15 chaos packs to the winners. Subscribe to my YouTube and don't miss it. So here, tweeted it out. You can see it right here. Retweet and comment your IGN. The first person to retweet it will receive a chaos pack, and then one random person who retweets it and comments their IGN will also receive a pack. You must be following me on Twitter to be eligible. Okay, that was number 1. Each video is going to contain 3 giveaways, so we'll have the other ones shortly, sometime in this video. Stay tuned. All right, unfortunately on the Splinterlands site, there's no good way to filter this, and on the Mav server, they give you access to every single card, like even Gladius cards. So we're gonna have to get a little creative. We're gonna do a reward, we're gonna do it by Splinter, and then we're gonna just do it by rarity as we go. So here are the first 2. Pharaoh, or Ferox, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce it, Defender, and Firecaller. Remember that these cards are going to take a while to level up. So what you're seeing right here, if you play at the highest levels, is probably going to take you a little bit to get to. So just keep that in mind as we talk about these cards. I really love this card right here. The combination of these 2 together, obviously, it's hard to think of 2 abilities that synergize better than Protect and Repair. Any rule set where melee can attack from anywhere that I'm using fire, this becomes a must-use card for me, right? Whether that be super sneak, opportunity, whatever it is. One thing I'm also finding, and I found it mostly with the Archimist Bear, I play the Archimist Bear a lot in the second position with a different tank up front. Now, the Archimist Bear is an amazing tank in its own right, but what I sometimes like to do is put the Archimist Bear in the second position, have it give the front position shield, and then, normally I'm trying to bring a repair or whatever it is. And then if you are able to get through my tank up front with the added shield, all of a sudden, again, the Archimist Bear, who's an amazing tank by itself, slides into the first position. So it provides enough of a support ability that even though it can't attack from the second position, like this card won't be able to, I'm going to play it a lot in the second position. And that's how I see this card playing for me as well. Like, I might play Grum in the first position, give it some more shield, bring the repair, and then if you get through Grum, this card's going to move into the first position. Obviously not as good of a card as the Bear, but these support abilities, to me, sort of overshadow the attack itself. So I want to put this in a position to help out my other cards versus to be in a position where it's the one getting attacked. If we look quickly at the stats, you'll see it doesn't get the repair until gold. So you get 100 of them. That's the other thing. Even if you're a top level player, you still need to take 100 of these out of the packs or out of the chests because you can't buy these from the secondary market. So it's going to take a while to get this repair. And that's when I first become interested in this card. The Protect's great. I love Protect. But for me, I think I would first start playing this card once I got 100 of them and got the repair. And then the Shatter at the top level is nice as well. This is just a card that really focuses on shield, right? It gives you some shield. It can repair that shield. Then it can completely shatter your opponent's shield. So this is a fun card. I like it. Next, we have the Fire Caller, and it's going to be our first look at the new Martyr ability. So right off the bat, as is, right? Martyr ability gives 1 stat buff to its adjacent monsters when it dies. So it's kind of like Bloodlust, except this monster doesn't get Bloodlusted. It gives 1 singular Bloodlust to the 2 monsters next to it. So right off the bat, how I think about these is I want these cards with Martyr to be my lowest health monsters that I bring. And the reason for that is I want any opportunity monsters that my opponent brings to hit the Fire Caller. I want to put it somewhere in the middle. I want the Fire Caller to be targeted. I want it to die, and then I want it to boost the 2 monsters next to it. What's great about this card, though, is it's bringing 4 attack for 5 mana. So even if it doesn't work out that way, it's still a pretty solid card. It's bringing a lot of damage. It's going to hit flyers. If your opponent brings a taunt, it's going to do double damage. Now you're talking 8 damage at the highest level. Pretty cool card. So one specific way I see myself using this card with the Martyr ability is with the Countess Sanash. So Countess Sanash has camouflage, right? So I would put this in the 6th position, the last position. I would put the Fire Caller in the 5th position. So if my opponent brings Sneak, it's going to target the Fire Caller. When they eliminate the Fire Caller, my Countess Sanash is going to get boosted across the board, which means it's going to get a 5th archery attack. That's big at a maxed out level because it's now going to be doing the 5 damage. And each blast, instead of doing 2, is going to do 5. So it's going to be a massive boost to the damage that the Countess Sanash can do. So that's one way right off the bat I see myself taking advantage of the Martyr card, or the Martyr ability with a very specific synergy that I see. Let's move on to Rare. In Rare we have 2, which includes the Summoner. Firewatch Devil. I'm not going to click into this card. I'm just going to talk about it from a high level. 3 archery for 3 damage, or 3 archery for 3 mana is great. And now you're just seeing, they talked about how, Dispel got a boost, Oppress is the focus. And you see it right off the bat. This card has both of those things. This amount of damage for this amount of mana is great as is. Specifically the life leech, right? If you start building up health, this could be a nice card. But you toss the Oppress on, and now you're talking if you go against the Pelacor Conjurer in a low mana game, if you go against Bakjira, there's just that chance that you're going to multiply this 6 damage. And what is that going to do? That's going to give you a bigger life leech. So that's huge, right? Any multiplied damage is going to increase your life leech. So now you could really start stacking up the health. So this will be a cool card. I actually am going to click into it, because I'm curious where it gets all of these abilities. So yeah, this is a card in silver. I really want this card at the highest level when it gets the 3rd attack. That's probably really the only time. Maybe here once it gets the Oppress, but I don't want this life leech card really until it gets that 3rd attack. The reason being, once it gets a 3rd attack, it's going to not heal up. It's going to increase its health by 2. Up until this point, levels 1 through 7, it's only going to increase its health by 1. So to me, you're not really able to take advantage of the life leech. Again, once I can get potentially the Oppress bonus, I might consider playing it. But kind of a niche card until it gets to the highest levels. Next, we have the Summoner. So, it is 6 mana. It is rare, as we thought, and as we talked about in the last video. The big thing to notice is, yes, each of these summoners is going to have something else along with it, which is huge. Because one thing I've been talking about is, if it only had the conscript ability, you then have to make a decision. Do you want to bring a summoner that's going to affect all of your other cards? Or do you want to just bring a summoner that allows you to play a specific Gladius card? So I thought it was going to be a Gladiator card. So I thought it was going to be a little niche. But with something like this, specifically -2 shield, there's so many times I might bring -2 shield, or -2 shield might be the main reason why I want to bring this card. If I'm going up against a shield bearer, for example, or if they play Lux all the time, or Kelia all the time, and I want to remove that shield, I could target this card specifically for that -2 shield, and the ability to play a Gladiator is almost just a bonus, right? For 6 mana, obviously I'm going to want to play a Gladius card or Gladiator card. But given that it has something else on top of that, I think it's going to make these summoners much more usable. Now, of course, you need to level these summoners up. I'm going to need to get 115 of these before, I would even think about playing it really at the highest levels. All right, let's move on to the epics. Now, for the epics, remember, all of these epics are going to have no attack. And that's because they want them to synergize with the new weapons training ability, which we will talk about shortly. But for now, Idri Fire. We have a taunt. I think our first taunt with no attack. So right from the front, right, this is just a distraction card to start. It has decent speed. It's only 6 mana, so that's pretty cheap for 12 health and good speed. Right from level 1, this card has use. I'd say this is the most useful card once you just get 1 copy. And then you can see it slowly builds, right? It gets some magic help, or some magic defense. Then at level 4, in gold, get some archery defense. And all of a sudden at the top, you have an 18 sort of combined armor health taunt monster that can dodge magic. If it gets hit, we'll send it back. We'll send back range damage. It's really only weak to melee. And as is, 5 speed's not bad. And fire has a ton of speed manipulation. So, you can get this card a lot. Think about with Yasik. All of a sudden you're talking about a 7 speed monster with phase. That's pretty crazy right here. This is a pretty dope card. Now, one of the big downsides of this card is that it has no attack. But as you're going to see in a moment, you can very easily give it an attack. by one of the legendary cards. Before I show you that card, let's talk about giveaway number 2. So, giveaway number 2. At some point in the second video, so this is the first video, the next video that I put out, at some point in that video, I'm going to give you a prompt to respond to. The 2 people who come back to this video, so video number 1, and best answer that prompt and include their IGN will receive a Chaos Pack. So 2 people for this one are going to get a Chaos Pack. The prompt's going to be randomly given in the second video. You don't know when, and you have to come back here. So if you comment on the second video, the answer to the prompt, you don't get it. You don't qualify. You have to come and comment on the first video. I'm trying to make this fun, trying to give specific directions, trying to make it a little challenging. So yeah, there are going to be some rules with some of these. The other thing to note, you must be subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you cannot qualify for this. So here's giveaway number 2. Prompts coming in video number 2, and you must comment the answer to that prompt on video number 1, which is this one. It's not going to be the 2 first people who do it. It's going to be the 2 people that I believe best answered the prompt. Okay, let's get back to it. So, downside of this card, does not have attack. Well, if we take a peek at legendary cards, Phyrexian Hero, our first weapons training card. Now, we don't know exactly how weapons training is going to work. Aggie said on the town hall today, at first, that the exact attack was going to transfer, but then I think he was quickly corrected that Matt still hasn't figured out exactly how it's going to work, because I don't think they want to just be giving out 5 attacks to random monsters. But regardless how it works, maybe it's half, right? Maybe it's how they do the halving thing, half round up. So, maybe it gives a 3 attack. So you're talking about play this in the second position. All of a sudden, this card, which is amazing defensive abilities, is going to also have 3 attack. That's pretty crazy. And we also talked about in a previous video how melee weapons training is going to be a little weird, because if you're giving it to a monster that's not in the first position or the second position, if you don't give it to someone in the first position, unless a rule set where melee can attack from anywhere, it's going to kind of be a waste, right? But in this case, with the reach ability, and I mean, they obviously did this on purpose, right? It's very smart by them. You put this in the second position, and then you put a tank in the front that doesn't have an attack, and boom, it's going to have a melee attack. It's going to be able to use that melee attack from the first position. And what do you know? It has Reflection Shield, one of the best abilities that a reach monster can have. So this synergy right here between Idri Fire and Phyrexian Hero is insane, and I'm excited to use this combination. Let's take a quick peek at the leveling so we can get an idea. So yeah, it gets weapons training right from the beginning. So right from the start, right, this card as is, I would play with Idri at a high level, right? Maybe not all the time, but I think this is a usable combination right from the jump. The most usable combination we've seen thus far, in my opinion. Now, obviously, I'm really going to want to get it to level 3 when I get the Reflection Shield, because that makes it even better, and then picking up that 5th attack is awesome. It'll be curious to see how weapons training scales. It's a pretty complicated thing that they're trying to do, which is why I don't think we've gotten exact details yet. They sort of want to test things out and see exactly how it works. But I guess I'm also curious right now, if you went in and played a match and played these 2 together, how it would work. So if anyone's done that, let me know. So yeah, good synergies there. Our first look at weapons training. And then we have Soriel the Bale. This is a fun card, but obviously, as you can see, it's slow. So any monster with phase, and we're seeing an increasing number of monsters with phase, good chance to dodge. But it does have amazing support abilities, Blind and Rust. So think about a little bit of a counter too to the common card we saw right here with the Protect. If you think about that too, when you bring in the Summoner, it's a -2, but the Rust is great. Double strike with magic is awesome. It's slow, and the low health makes me nervous. Because if it hits a monster with Reflection Shield, hits it for 3, takes 2 damage back, hits it for 3, takes 2 damage back, boom, it has 1 health. If they bring a weaken, boom, it's eliminated the first time it gets to attack. So for me, I'm playing this in specific contexts, right? Maybe in reverse speed opportunity, where I'm going to bring some monsters that have lower health than this, or I'm going to bring a taunt, right? I'm probably always going to try to bring this card with a taunt. But an opportunity rule set where I bring a taunt, so, you know, hopefully it's attacking backline monsters, which are less likely to have magic reflect. When played in the right context, this is going to be a really, really powerful card, but it's not a plug-and-play card. I think it's too risky. But it does have amazing support abilities. Right off the bat, it does have the double strike. So at the lower levels, before you see a lot of magic reflect, this card's going to be sick. The attack's kind of low for 9 mana, but it's just these higher levels, when you get the magic reflect, you know, this thing is going to get eliminated quickly. But again, Blind and Rust are 2 amazing abilities. I'm excited to test this card. This is the type of card where I need to play with it first. I need to see how it works. I wasn't excited for Raw that much, but I've liked playing with Raw. So, you know, maybe this will be a similar situation. All right, let's move on to water. To start, we have another repair common monster, Swamp Spitter. Good attack, 4 speed, 3 shield, 6 health for 7. Not a bad combination at the highest levels. Bring the repair, good giant killer, which is nice. You know, this is a card with some of the Kelia sneak plays, right? You can put this in the back, and it can repair itself up a little bit to be a little resilient while doing a decent amount of damage. So this is nice. It starts with repair, so that's nice. Another sort of repair that's coming right to the start. Or I guess, sorry, the fire one didn't get repair until gold. That just got protect. But we're now getting a repair right away from an attack card, so that's interesting. You know, I would start considering playing this card at the silver level once I got 30. That's when it would first sort of pique my interest. You know, and obviously as you level it up and it gets more resilient. Giant Killer is really nice, just a nice thing to have. I don't think you would play this for the Giant Killer. Kind of looks like a Ninja Turtle now that I'm looking at it, but I think you would play it for the repair. And if the Giant Killer triggered, you know, that would just be a big bonus. That's sort of how I think about Giant Killer. But this is a fun card. This is a nice card. It's a very useful card. You know, it's not, to me, it's not like overpowered or anything. It's a very useful card. This card seems a little ridiculous, specifically in the context of, drumroll please, Possibilis. If you don't know, Possibilis gives every monster reach and trample. I'm sure you've seen how powerful a double strike trample can be with Grund, right? Who starts with that? Now, let's think about a double strike trample with piercing from the second position. So you can't even directly attack this card, and it has 5 speed. This card is going to be a problem. It would probably be on my short list of cards that might get nerfed. It's going to be fun to play with. Let's take a look at the levels. Like, I'm excited to play with this card. I think it's going to be, you know, it's going to be some awesome and hilarious content. So, I mean, even right from the start, playing this in the second position is pretty sweet. Again, it's not really a tank. I'm only playing this card right now with Possibilis. That's it. But they literally gave us a summoner that makes this card amazing. And so in that context, though, 10 mana, you know, this is susceptible to Giant Killer, which is the, you know, the other common card. So there you go. You know, in silver, it's going to get that second. It's going to get a 4th attack for the double strike. It's really good in gold once you get it to level 6. So once you get 100 of them, and then it picks up the piercing, combine, again, Possibilis is going to give it trample. So with the piercing, it's going to run right through shield. In a decent shot, it can do a bunch of attacks. And then actually at level 9 is when it gets the 5th attack. I don't really try to plan for stuns and knockouts, so, you know, obviously as I earn these, I'll level them up, but I'll consider this its final form, for me at least, at level 9. So I need 300 of these, and I want 300 of these ASAP. This will be one of the first cards. You know, we have no control over which cards we level up first, but this is going to be one of the commons I'm praying I level up first. I'm very excited for this card. It's fun all the way up. I would say, you know, I would play a level 1 at the highest levels with Possibilis. It'll be a little underpowered, but I could see myself doing it. And then outside of Possibilis, I guess I should say also, specifically when you're talking about the piercing, melee can attack from anywhere, super sneak, opportunity, anything like that. This is going to become sort of a must-play card. Really fun card. All right, rare next. Riverboat Captain. So right away, this card, I want more reverse speed cards in water. Water to me is a pretty fast splinter. And with Possibilis, so Kelia in normal speed rule sets is what I like to play. In general. Obviously, there's certain contexts in which I'll play Possibilis over Kelia, but for the most part, in regular speed rule sets, I try to play Kelia. Mainly because I need more slow monsters to sort of, you know, play with my Possibilis lineups. Now, this doesn't synergize directly with Possibilis, right? But it's just a slow monster that's going to hit pretty hard and give me a nice 2 blast at the highest level. So this is a welcomed card for me. I think this is a cool card. You know, with Fury, it's going to be a nice thing to have. You know, if you go up against a shield bearer or something, getting that double, hitting for 6 magic is great. Or I guess even the Coral Lurker, although this might struggle to hit the Coral Lurker a little bit. Affliction's amazing. You know, specifically when you're talking about going up against a taunt, right? Most people bring a taunt to try to heal that taunt. So if you're going to combine a Fury and an Affliction, this is a card that's designed to go after taunts. But I also like that it's slow. Let's look here. So it gets the blast right away. Again, right away, it's a really good reverse speed card. I get mostly interested in it right here at level 6, mainly because I want the 2 blast damage. You know, if here you're only going to do 1 blast damage, and, you know, if the monster has Void or whatever it is, it's going to do 0 damage. So here is where I start to get a little more interested, where you're sort of multiplying the damage that can be done with the card. Yeah, pretty solid card. I mean, I think this is a well-balanced card that'll just be a nice addition. There's going to be context in which it's really, really powerful. And then we have the water version of the Gladius card. And this one to me is pretty weak, right? +1 health does not compare to -2 shield, in my opinion. There's not a lot of times where I'm like, ooh, you know exactly what I want to do right now? I want to bring +1 health for everyone. That's kind of something that gets tossed along with a summoner for, you know, something specific. There's very few times where I'm specifically looking to bring +1 health. So, you know, this is a context where I'm going to really specifically want to, or have to need to play a specific Gladius card in water to bring the summoner, you know, over a Kelia or over a Possibilis. You know, it seems unlikely that this summoner gets a lot of run for me. All right, we are going to go to the Epic now, and we see Noah the Just. Another, obviously, as you can see, they're going to be no attack cards. And this one's kind of funny to me because, here, let's click in. Let's just talk about it from this point, right? It has the Martyr ability, although I feel like it picks it up late. It does. It's the last thing it picks up. But if you're just going to look at this from a high level, right, let's ignore the Martyr ability. 6 speed, really fast. Dodge makes it hard to hit. Backfire, when you do miss it, right, you take damage. So this is set up as a card that's difficult to eliminate, right? It's only 5 mana, too. It has a lot of shield, has a decent amount of health, really fast. So then you give it the ability where you want it to die if you play it, right? Or it's advantageous to die, for this card to die if you play it. You know, it's just kind of funny. Although, let's talk about Possibilis, right? You put this card up front. You put whatever melee card, you know, Demon Shark in the second position. And the Demon Shark can be attacking. Your opponent goes after Noah. Once Noah dies, you're just going to, you know, boost up that Demon Shark even more than it already is. You know, so there's ways you play this in the first position. You actually hope it doesn't get hit, right? It's a tank. But if it does die, then you put a card in the second position alongside, assuming you're playing Possibilis, that would then get a big boost from it. You know, for water, it's a pretty solid also sneak defender, right? Which we talk about. The Rust is going to be great for combating Kelia. It gets its Rust right away. So like right here, this is a pretty solid card. I would play this against Kelia. I'd put it last probably, you know, expecting some of those sneak plays. And I would just want to take away the shield that Kelia brings. Once it gets the dodge, this to me is where it gets really, really good, and I would start playing it. Backfire is a nice bonus, because then all the misses, you're then penalizing them for it. And then Martyr's just, to me, kind of a funny add-on thing for this card. But I think this is a cool card. I'm excited to use this card. Alright, we're going to go to the legendaries. We got two. We have the Kulu Mastermind and the Musa Saline. Before we talk about that card, let's talk about giveaway number 3. So this is a fun one. I'm going to try to include a fun one in each of these videos, or at least kind of just a more random one. So I'm going to put out 3 videos, as I said. In the third video, the first person to make me laugh with a comment will win a pack. You must include your IGN with whatever you say to try to make me laugh. Obviously, this is very subjective, but this is just for fun. Whoever makes me laugh first in a comment on the third video will get a pack. The only other rule, you can try to make me laugh in any way possible. Tell a joke, say something super serious that I'm not expecting. Whatever you want to try to do. But you must be subscribed to the YouTube channel. This is a fun one. Good luck. All right, let's talk about these 2 legendaries, and then we're going to wrap up video number 1. Kulu Mastermind. So kind of, you know, a play on the Kulu Swim Hunter, right? And you see the weapons training. So this is one, right? You play Possibilis. You put this in the second position. It gets reach, you know, again. So we see the 2 melee monsters they picked to have weapons training. And I don't think it's by accident that the first one has reach. The first melee weapons training monster has reach. And the second one can be played with the summoner who gives everyone reach, right? You can play this in the second position, play Noah in the first position, and both of them can attack. The team is very smart. They know what they're doing. This is a fun card. You know, mainly with the shield ability, I'm thinking about playing this in, you know, melee only or no magic rule sets. But one thing to notice, playing this in the second position with Possibilis, the Oppress can go after Bakjira. So you're going to hit Bakjira for 8. And with that in mind, with weapons training, if you play your own Bakjira in the first position, you're going to give Bakjira an attack. So this is kind of a Bakjira helper and a Bakjira attacker. So if you can hit Bakjira for 8 in one turn, that's going to go a long way in you trying to eliminate it. So let's take a look at it sort of level by level. And then one more card for video number 1. Starts out with weapons training, so it's an immediate sort of help with Possibilis. You can immediately put this in the second position. Pretty fast, okay health. You know, probably not a main tank. This is a card you're going to play with Possibilis in the second position. Picks up the shield, nice. Picks up the Oppress. this is probably where I start getting really serious about this card once I get 6 of them. Obviously, I'm going to want the Enrage, right? Think about it. Ooh, Poison rule set. This just hit me. Bakjira can be really tough to go after in a Poison rule set. Just because it's healing for so much, they bring cleanses, blah, blah, blah. You put this in the second position with Possibilis. Poison goes by. You take damage. All of a sudden, it's up to 6 damage, right? Once it gets enraged, the highest level. You are then going to hit Bakjira for 12. The 6 times 2 with the Impress. You can do 12 damage to Bakjira. Okay. I really like these cards. This card. It's going to be a very, very, very specific situations where this is just going to destroy Bakjira. Cool. And then finally, Musa Saline. So only 3 mana, which is cool. And for me, this card's really all about the shatter. It's a low mana shatter. I don't have a lot of shatters in my deck. I want to add some shatters. This is a great addition for me. You see Dispel here again with the Scavenger. Again, this is a nice, just I think, support card to have. It's not crazy. It's not insane. It starts with the, I have no interest at this level. I'm not going to be playing it at this level. I will be playing it at this level. If I see, Shield Bearer spam or, Shield, even the, now that I think about it, in low mana, water battles that we always see, the Cruel Cethropod, right, with the 6 shield that it can bring at its highest levels. Bringing a Shatter will be nice. So, level 2 is when I start thinking about this card, and then at the max is when I okay, I could start, very specifically working this into specific, fitting it into my lineups. The Scavenger is nice, specifically in low mana rule sets. You can see how powerful that ability can be, just scavenging up a ton of health and moving to the front. So this is a fun little card. Again, I think a lot of these cards are pretty well balanced, thus far at least. We'll see if that continues. But that's going to end video number 1. So let's just recap the 3 giveaways. Giveaway number 1, the tweet I showed you. First person to retweet the tweet and comment their IGN will receive a pack. One random person who does that will receive a pack as well. Must be following me. Giveaway 2. At some point in the second video, which will come out sometime after this one, there will be a prompt in it. The 2 people who come back to this video, the first one, and best answer that prompt and include their IGN will receive a pack. Again, this isn't first, it's the best answer. You must be subscribed to the YouTube channel to be eligible. And then giveaway number 3 for this one, first person to make me laugh with a comment on the 3rd video I put out today will win a pack. Must include your IGN and must be subscribed to the YouTube channel to be eligible. Alright, so that starts our video series for today. We're going to go through the cards. We're going to have some fun scavenger hunts. Curious to see how you guys handle this stuff, what the interest level is. Something I'm experimenting with. Want to have fun with you guys. It's a brand new week. Stay tuned for the rest of the giveaways and the rest of the reward card review. And if you're new here, I try to do fun stuff like this all the time. So even if you're not going to participate, it would be awesome if you could take a second to subscribe to the channel. All right, I will talk to you guys shortly. Have a good one.